Every Regenesis target reviewed. Go. Welcome back to the show that would have been assorted into Slytherin. Do you question? That's a reference like 3 people are gonna get. Welcome back to Every Target Reviewed. I've gotten like 70 requests to do these over the last year, and instead I decided to crash out for 8 months. For those of you who don't know, the problem with making Every Target Reviewed is that a lot of them take way too long to film, way too long to edit, and then get about as many views as a deck check would anyway. So I tried to do them a little sparingly, make them a little bit of a special event, but we do have a really good one for you today. That is right, every Regenesis target reviewed, but not the one you all wanted me to do, which is every single monster with 2500 attack or defense, which would be the summoning conditions for the Regenesis monsters. Instead, we are doing every search target for the spell card that is named Regenesis. See, I have proof that it's not clickbait because that, like, I did tell you what we were doing. It's every Regenesis target. That's true. That's like you can't deny that. What do you think? I'm lying? What did you think was gonna happen? I'm not hungry. I don't take a slice. Hungry, pizza for me. Give me slice now. So let's take a moment to read this one. Take one Regenesis monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Or if you control a Regenesis monster, you can add one monster with 2500 attack and defense from your deck to your hand. Now, interestingly, the carve out in that text that says that you are either adding a Regenesis monster or a monster with 2500 attack and defense means that I have a perfectly good excuse to skip all 5 of the intended targets. Because that's not really the effect we're talking about right now, even though they do still fit into that effect. If you want to do that, you don't need this second half of the effect at all. So we're just talking about the fun ones. So we're just going to take all 5 of those out of there and 25 targets. How deep does the rabbit hole go? Earthbound Immortal Asclepiuscu. There can only be one Earthbound Immortal on the field. If there's no face-up field spell on the field, destroy this card. Your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. This card can attack directly. If this face-up card leaves the field except by its own effect, destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. Alright, so right off the bat, not a very good one. Not really a card we can make much use of. I mean, all the Regenesis monsters do kind of summon themselves, so they can give you tribute fodder for this pretty easily, but they don't have like a field spell, so I'm not sure what the what you could do with that even. Famously, the board wipe was only ever used as part of a Dragon Link FTK. It did 4,000 damage to your opponent, and then that one level 7 rocket did the other 4,000 across 2 turns. I forget what video this came up in before, where the idea of like using the Wicked Eraser and destroying it from just anywhere, you can destroy all cards on the field. And so Asclepiuscu kind of has the same idea for it, where if you somehow do summon it and it does stick to the field, you can use the effect of one of your own cards to remove the Asclepiuscu from field and turn it into a Raigeki. But the Regenesis cards only tribute themselves, like this one tributes itself to Cosmic Cyclone, this one tributes itself to Bounce. They have Bounce. And then Sage can send another card, but only Regenesis cards, so that doesn't work either. So I don't see a way in Archetype to get him off field at quick effect speed. Fire King Island Diagram. All of that would work with the Wicked Eraser. But you may notice that you have to this has to leave the field. All those can pop cards from hand, which make it decent with Wicked Eraser. Decent, by the way, because it's not like good. You shouldn't play this in your Fire King deck. But the idea there of a card that pops the Wicked Eraser from hand to nuke the board whenever you want is pretty cool. The idea of getting Asclepiuscu out and then killing it for a Raigeki, that's a little bit more difficult. That's a little bit harder to get all the pieces together for. Nemlyria Dream Devourer Reveal. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down, except Dreaming Nemlyria. Special summon this card. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except Pendulum monsters. You can send one other level 10 beast monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Set one Nemlyria trap directly from your deck. Alright, so this one is better than you'd expect on account of the fact that he summons himself. He gets on board. And locking out of summoning from the extra deck isn't a problem because I think they have like an E-Telly that does that anyway. Toro Regenesis. summon a Regenesis from deck. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck until the end of the next turn. Yeah, so getting locked to the extra deck, not a big deal. And there are like a couple of decent Nemlyria trap cards. Reptor can sack that very same Reveal you control to wide imperm your opponent, and if you just lie to them, then you can just tell them it's skill drain. The problem with Reveal is just that he has to send another level 10 beast. He can't just send himself. So if Regenesis could search 2 copies of Reveal instead of just 1, then maybe he'd like do something, but instead he just summons himself, and then you can't do anything with him because you can't link him off because you're locked out of the extra. And the Regenesis cards can't use them for any of their costs because they only send Regenesis cards for some reason. So what's even the point of getting these? So literally, like, these guys can't really help Regenesis at all. They can't be used as, like, the fodder for any of them. Like, he can get on board so that you can summon the Regenesis cards, but then he's just sitting there. He's not really doing anything else. So in order for these cards to be good, they have to summon themselves and kind of do something instead of just sit there looking pretty. That's the baseline we seem to be looking for so far. Triamid Sphinx. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned with the effect of a Triamid card and cannot be special summoned by other ways. If a face-up Triamid card you control, except Triamid Sphinx, is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. While you control another Triamid card, this card gains 500 attack and defense for each field spell card with a different name in your graveyard. Also, monsters your opponent controls cannot attack except to attack Triamid Sphinx. Does anyone know what a single other Triamid card does? Not me. I'm trying to like think of like a way to spin this in a way where you play a Regenesis engine in Triamid, but then it's not like Sphinx does anything. You can't really summon him that proactively. So I guess if you AFD pop the Triamid field spell, I believe that the Triamid field spells then... Do they search each other or do they do something else? So I guess you could pop like Cruiser, summon the Sphinx from hand, and then search another monster with Cruiser, and then Sphinx sits there looking pretty. He doesn't actually do anything. Even if you get him onto the board, he doesn't do anything there. Prediction Princess Bibliomouse. Flip, you can add 1 Prediction Princess monster and 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand. If this card is tributed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card in face down defense position. And your opponent cannot target ritual monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. All right, another archetype I have to learn about in 5 seconds to try and guess if this is anything. All right, so you can add this to hand, and then you could tribute it with the ritual spell, but you want to summon it and flip it face up to search the ritual spell and the ritual monster. You have to just already have the things you were gonna search with it for it to do anything. You can't tribute it with the Regenesises, even though they tribute themselves. I feel like I'm learning really quickly that any of these that just mention any archetype, they're just not gonna be useful, because even though the Regenesis don't really lock you out of anything, they only really work on their own. They're not really there to like work with anyone else. They might work next to you. If you have like a 2500 monster, they'll pop out and do their thing, but they're not gonna help you at all. You know? They're not gonna like do anything else for you. They might get you your random guy from your archetype, and that's it. After that, you're on your own, man. Ice Jade Creation Kingfisher. You can target 1 water monster you control, equip this card from your hand to it. An Ice Jade monster equipped with this card can attack while in defense position, apply its defense for damage calculation. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the equipped monster's defense, special summon this card, and if you do, return the targeted monster to the hand. Now, we do have a water monster in this archetype. We have Regenesis Sage Shamat. So I guess you can equip Kingfisher to Sage, and then it doesn't do anything. Then it's like weird Draco back. Like if your opponent has a monster on board, you can like bounce it to hand and then you get a guy. It's like a weird board breaker that only works if you're already playing. Vala Satyr of the Generator Bosses. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send 1 other generator card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 generator monster from your hand or graveyard. So this is similar to Bibliomouse, but Bibliomouse kind of asks for... I didn't call it Bibliomouse, it's Bibliomuse. So this is similar to Bibliomuse, in that it asks you to already have the archetype cards in hand, but it's not asking quite as much of you. It's just asking that you have any of the names in hand. That's already something that you need if you want to use Vala at all. So this is just giving you another way to search it if you so choose. And if you can resolve it, then you get to the Xyz, which coincidentally also has 25-25. I say coincidentally as though like that probably wasn't planned when these were released in the same set. But coincidentally in that I'm pretty sure they weren't planning REGENESIS when they made that. Now, unfortunately, the only other card in the archetype that has a 2500 stat is Davalgus, which is maybe the one that generator players want to cut more than anything else. And mostly have cut, I just mean like historically, when it was played, they hated having to play it. So I'm not sure a REGENESIS splash would necessarily work in Generator because they don't have too many cards that work alongside it. Pretty much just this card that you're already hoping to draw anyway. Magicians of Bonds and Unity. Folks, the long 25th anniversary never ends. We will still be doing the 25th anniversary once we get to the 30th anniversary. They're telling us that quarter century secret rares are done. In the new Battles of Legend, they're going back to Starlights. I don't believe them. I don't believe them. They're gonna have that stamp. They're gonna stamp that shit. I could see it in my mind palace. I could see the stamp. They're gonna be like, oh fuck, I stamped them. Just stamp them all. Nobody will know the difference. Must be special summoned from your hand by having 25 or more cards in your graveyard, and while your opponent has 25 or more cards in their graveyard, this card gains 2500 attack and defense. Beyond the fact that this is just a collector's item that was never meant to be played, let's assess this competitively. I guess it's meant to be played in like a grass deck for some reason. You're supposed to have a way to deep mill yourself, but then also deep mill your opponent. This was meant for a Shizu tier format, no question. Magical Musket Mastermind Zachiel. You can tribute summon this card face up by tributing one Magical Musket monster. Not even special summon it by tributing one. This is still a tribute summon, only using one tribute. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Light Fiend, though, that is true. During either player's turn, you can activate musket spells from hand. Once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of magical musket spell trap cards you activated this turn, while this card was face up on your field. So notably, this is just worse than having an actual musket that like does something proactively when you use a musket spell or trap. It's just super rejuvenation to like mitigate the cost at the end of the turn, whereas something like Caspar just immediately gets you a free plus. And it's only in your opponent's end phase. Fuck, that's even worse than I thought it was when I was thinking about it. No, yeah, this guy is not good. I do not know what they were thinking when they made this dude. Like, bro, what if you draw, like, something better than a musket spell trap? What if you draw, like, a good card instead of a bad one? Surgical Striker Homp. This card is always treated as a Sky Striker monster. You can special summon this card from your hand to either field by tributing one monster from that field. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Alright, so this is the world-famous Skyju. I'm not sure if we intend to play a Sky Striker package to enable this. Needing to have a Sky Striker ace on board means that you like have to be playing a pretty significant Sky Striker package to always have this online, or else you're just gonna be bricking on him all the time. Skyju sounds like something that would be good in the REGENESIS deck. Man, shut the fuck up! I guess the normal summon is pretty open in this deck. Archfiend is their searcher and it special summons itself, so maybe we could just play Ray and Rose and then have a searchable kaiju. Boot up Admiral Destroyer Dynamo. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending 2 gadget monster cards from your hand and or face-up field to the graveyard. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while you control a gadget monster or a gadget monster card equipped to a monster. Once per turn, you can target one other card on the field and destroy it. This is the easiest way to destroy a card on the field, is to play a chill gadget engine. Man, the boot up cards from Fists of the Gadgets is just so confusing. So I guess you're supposed to get Command Dynamo, equip them to him to special summon himself, and then just send them to summon Destroyer Dynamo, and then Command Dynamo just sits there looking pretty again. God damn it. But how are you getting the gadgets into the... Oh my god. Gadgets are such a weird series of cards, because like, you'd think there'd be something by now that would just make this type of effect good, where you have this series of guys that all search each other. You'd think like, maybe they'd make like a card that could then get that thing you searched onto the field, and then just get the next one onto the field just over and over. But instead they've got like all these stipulations on that where it's like, well, you just have to draw the gold gadget. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is they need the Gen X Link one. They need exactly the Gen X Link one. They should be allowed to do that. But I don't want to say we should just give Gadget a Link 1, because they should just give every deck a Link 1 then. Fuck it. No rules. Anyway, this guy is like worse Dark Arm Dragon. Do you guys remember Dark Arm Dragon? He pops 3 cards. DD Assault Carrier. Cannot declare an attack unless you banish 1 card from your graveyard. If exactly 3 of your cards are banished, you can special summon this card from your hand. Alright. We have located another guy that summons himself. And you may notice he needs 3 banished cards. And how can you banish 3 cards? Dream Devourer Reveal. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. Anyway, if you do that, then you summon these 2 cards and then they sit there looking pretty. This isn't a beast. You can't like link summon, because this locks you out of the extra deck. The Iris Sword Soul. During the main phase, if a monster whose effects are negated is on the field, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can activate one of these effects based on where it was special summoned from. From hand, special summon 1 monster from your own hand. From deck, draw 2 cards. Extra deck, destroy one of those monsters special summoned from the extra deck. So this is like a hand trap, but only one that works in like really specific conditions. Like if you've already Veilered or Impermed your opponent, you can like extra punish them by whipping this out. Or like in the case of, right now in the format we have Node Ryzeal. There's a lot of cards like this that have existed throughout many formats that summon one of your own monsters negated. Then you can punish them for that by dropping the Iris Sword Soul. But at that point in the combo, they're about to make Detonator. And if you attempt to use Iris Sword Soul on Detonator, it just kills Iris and then protects itself from being destroyed. So that's not a very good interaction right now. There is also Splash Mage. That's another one in the format right now. Not only does it summon back a Cyberse monster negated, it also manifests 1 copy of Effect Veiler into your hand when your opponent summons it. That's like something I've noticed about it. It has like hidden text that says this card cannot resolve. Malice players should just cut this shit. I see this hit the board and I'm like, don't mind if I do. I'll win the game. Sure, why not? The other 2 effects, the hand and deck modes, aren't even really worth talking about because that's like pretty specific conditions and not nearly as powerful as being just able to destroy something your opponent summons. Draw 2 cards is pretty good. Like that's obviously very good. Summon 1 from hand. That's asking even more of you. Now you have to have Iris, Imperm, and something actually good to summon from hand, which that just doesn't even really exist. And Regenesis, I believe, doesn't even have a way to proactively negate one of your opponent's cards. It can negate an activation with Sage, but it doesn't leave a negated monster on your opponent's board. But you know what does negate cards? That's right, baby! Nemlyria Reptor! We're building the center. I'm building a team. I'm building a team. Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 ritual spell or polymerization from your deck to your hand. During your end phase, you can add 1 level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. All level 8 or higher dragon monsters you control gain 1000 attack. You can only use each effect of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon once per turn and can only activate them while Blue Eyes White Dragon is on your field or in your graveyard. Yeah, that's like this card's downfall in terms of being used anywhere else. It's just like, you have to be playing Blue Eyes White Dragon in some capacity. Not even just the fact that there's not really a way to get this on board. I mean, like I said, you could just tribute over the the Regenesis monsters, but it only triggers on special summon to search Poly. I'm not even going into the ritual spell because we're not using that. And it's not like we can do anything with the Poly either. So the good effect of this card is during the end phase you could search a dragon, and Regenesis Dragon is level 8. So that's maybe something you could do. But it's not like there's a way to like then get it on board on your opponent's turn. So all you would do is like sack it with Sage, and then during the end phase, it would come back to your hand because all of them come back to your hand during your opponent's end phase. So that would be, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's like an okay effect in terms of like, if you want to somehow jerry-rig a Blue Eyes Regenesis deck, which I guess could work because every copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon you summon is a 2500 defender that you can summon Regenesis onto a board with. Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis the Knighted. During the main phase, if a monster special summoned from the extra deck is on the field, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then if you control another Dogmatica monster, you can negate the effects of 1 face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. When your Dogmatica monster declares an attack, you can make all Dogmatica monsters you control gain 500 attack. Alright, so not very good to search with Regenesis. But let's talk about this for a moment, because we do have an extra deck lock from Tora Regenesis. So why not play a Dogmatica package in Regenesis where you normal summon Ecclesia, search Fleur-de-Lis. You still can't summon it unless your opponent has something on board for you to summon off of. You do have to reveal one from hand to summon Archfiend, and Archfiend's the good one. That's the one you want to draw. So yeah, in terms of finding what we're supposed to be searching with this secondary mode of the spell card Regenesis, not really seeing anything with Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis. But in terms of like a supplementary engine to play with the deck Regenesis, I can kind of see Dogmatica working to some degree, because Ecclesia searching Fleur-de-Lis will get you a 2500 to reveal with Archfiend, and then will just be a negate once your opponent summons from the extra. Galactic Spiral Dragon. While this card is in your hand or graveyard, if you control 2 or more light and or dark dragon monsters, you can special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. During your main phase, you can make all monsters you currently control become level 8. Alright, so this one's so frustrating because the only dragon in the deck is a fucking wind. It's not like we can even get 2 at all, so like, I don't really care, but also, you couldn't even try. Dragon of Pride and Soul. Must be special summoned while your opponent has 25 or more cards in their graveyard, and while you have 25 or more cards in your graveyard, this card gains 2500 attack and defense. I cannot believe they made a worse version of Bonds and Unity. Like, how do you take a card like Bonds and Unity and decide, what if it was even less proactive? What if you took a card like that just doesn't even do anything on field, and made like that the easier part to enable? Summoning it, no, you don't need to do that. Don't even worry about that. Just resolve Agido 5 times. Evil Hero Vicious Claws. You can target 1 hero monster on the field, special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and if you do, that monster gains 300 attack. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Then if you have a monster in your graveyard that mentions Dark Fusion, you can destroy 1 card on the field. So once again, not good at all to search with the spell card Regenesis, but it is kind of neat that you can use like Stratos, for example, to search this, and then you can reveal it from hand with Archfiend, then summon itself, and then link off the Stratos and the Vicious Claws into Moon of the Closed Heaven. Because if you haven't heard about this, the big thing about Vicious Claws is that it's a hero extender that doesn't lock you to heroes. One of the big problems with hero is that the hero lock is so pervasive throughout the archetype that it's kind of hard to build any version of it that does anything except just hero stuff. So Vicious Claws is really, really good because it lets you make a hero deck that can do things outside of the archetype before getting locked to hero and doing your more hero-centric stuff like the Dark Fusion, Dark Supremacy thing. So what people are doing is just making like Fiendsmith hero where you do like a Fiendsmith line, you can go through Area Leader to get to the Sinister Necrom in graveyard, or you can get to Desiree, you get to all sorts of things like that. So one thing you could do is you could play that engine as your normal summon engine in a Regenesis deck, having Vicious Claws be an easy to add to hand 25 that you can reveal, and then separately do like the hero Fiendsmith combo. But once again, it's not gonna help you do that. It's just it's gonna do its own thing parallel to that. What it's gonna be doing is it's going to be, if you draw Archfiend, then you summon Archfiend, you search Sage, summon Sage, and now you have a negate. Do not ask Regenesis to do anything of any kind except put Sage on the board. It will not be doing that. It's not gonna help you. She's not gonna fuck you, little bro. She's not gonna support your archetype, little bro. Just give up. And also clog up your board to make the hero combos harder. Welcome back, Adventure Token. D-Grade Buster. They call me the D-Grade Buster. I'm a real degradation coomer. They call me the D-Grade Buster. I'm a real insult gooner. There we go. Must first be special summoned by banishing 2 Cyberse monsters from your graveyard. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls with higher attack than this card. Quick effect, banish it until the end phase. Alright, this is not awful. This is so not awful because you can play like the Cyberse engine as like just your normal summon engine for Regenesis, where you just go Cyberse Gadget into Link Disciple and Link Devotee, and then you can get a mulligan draw and then some tokens. That doesn't put a 25 on board though, so I don't know why you would do that as your normal summon, except for the fact that it puts at least two Cyberse monsters in graveyard for exactly D-Grade Buster. And D-Grade Buster is then only searchable if you have a Regenesis on board for the spell card Regenesis to then have its mode to search Degrade Buster. But, unfortunately, in spite of all of that, this is still probably one of the most proactive ones we've seen so far. That gets on board and then has a purpose on that board. You just have to do some other shit to enable it, but we'll just be doing that. We'll just have all these cyber starters to use as our normal summon. It's like just a tiny bit better than Iris Sword Soul, because Iris Sword Soul does kind of suck. It can literally banish Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's so crazy, right? It banishes Detonator. Come on! Arcana Force 15, The Fiend. Discard this card, add 1 Light Barrier from your deck to your hand. I'm not reading the rest. I'm not reading the rest of that shit again. I don't want to read it. I don't care. Wait a second, this is a good card. I disagree. Look inside, not a fiend. Recycle all the same jokes. We have read this one on this show before. We read it with Danny. Damn, Light Force says you can't special summon at all for the rest of the turn except Arcana Forces. Man, why is this card so bad? I guess this is technically another way to get to Light Barrier. If you don't have Light Force to search Light Barrier and then your starter, then your combos are going to be a lot harder. So just having this as one more way to Light Barrier is bad. It's not good. I shouldn't say it's like alright even. It's just you shouldn't do that. Chronicle Magician. If a monster with 2500 original attack or defense is normal or special summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Oh. So this is like a pre-Genesis. This is like the original Regenesis. Okay. Wait, maybe this will do something. Guys, I'm excited. Maybe this card will have an effect that will be useful in the Regenesis archetype. Wait. We might be going somewhere. Wait, let's read the rest of the card. If this card is special summon, you can target 1 Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone. It gains 2500 until the end of the turn. I love the heckin' Blue Eyes White Dragon and the freaking Dark Magician. Oh my god! Dual Monsters Bat Chest! It's time to duel! World Legacy World Armor. When a monster is flipped summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. If this normal summoned or set card is on the field, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up opponent's monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, return both that monster and this card to the hand. What's weird is I don't hate this, right? You might think, well, how are we flip summoning a monster? Don't need to. We are going to tribute summon it. We are literally going to tribute summon it and be the first people in human history to resolve the quick effect that only works if you normal summoned it. You can Archfiend reveal any of them, any of the other ones, summon itself, search the spell card, spell, search, World Armor, then summon the other one that you drew from hand, tribute both of them for World Armor, search a World Legacy card, and there's gotta be at least one of these that's good, right? Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna search World Legacy Awakens, link off the World Armor into the Link 1 Galatea Eye. Except that we need to bounce the World Armor to the hand to use his own effect. So maybe that doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Wait, that's actually it. Wait, no, this is actually the answer. We just get World Legacy's secret, and we reborn the Regenesis that we sacked to tribute summon it. Okay. This is the easiest way to get a bounce in the entire deck, is this 2-card combo. Odd Eyes Wizard Dragon. Wizard! If this card is in your hand, you contribute 1 Dark Monster, send 1 Odd Eyes Dragon from your hand, deck, or face-up monster zone to the graveyard, special summon this card. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your deck or graveyard, except Odd Eyes Wizard Dragon. Then you can add 1 Spiral Flame Strike from your deck to your hand. I think this card just goes wrong at every opportunity available to it. You have to tribute a card, you have to have something on board, tribute that. You're already paying a cost to summon this thing. And then guess what? You also have to play Odd Eyes Dragon, not Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Odd Eyes Dragon. You have to play this for some reason. Only then will it summon itself. And what does it do on board? Flat fucking nothing. literally doesn't do a single thing. But it does do something when it's destroyed, but not when you destroy it. Your opponent has to destroy it, and anytime a card requires your opponent to do something, they just won't do it. This is getting SP Little Knighted. This is getting sent to the graveyard by Dingirsu. Anything except destroying it, for sure. And what does this do even if your opponent just refuses to read it? All it does is just summon, hopefully, a better Odd Eyes monster from deck. And you do get Spiral Flame Strike, so when it's back on your turn, you can either search an Odd Eyes monster, or you can pop a card your opponent controls. So that's something. I'd say that's not nothing, but actually, I changed my mind. That is nothing. Rescue Ace Fire Engine. If a Rescue Ace monster is normal or special summoned to your field, except Rescue Ace Fire Engine, you can special summon this card from your hand. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Rescue Ace monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. I feel like the theme of this video, in the same way that when we did the Bonfire video, all of those were just cards from GOAT that were unceremoniously brought into the modern era for no reason other than just to be read on stream by a white dude. I feel like the theme of this one is, this would be a good search target if you got 2 cards from the archetype it's a part of instead of just 1. Like, Reveal would be good if you got something for his cost. Fleur-de-lis would be good if you also got another Dogmatica monster out of this. Maybe even the Fiend would be good if you also got to search the Sun. But unfortunately, you only get to search 1 of these cards, and even if you could search 2, none of the other cards from any of these cards' archetypes are present. Each of these only has 1 representative. So they have to make a good impression, and none of them are doing it. So this card might have been a good search target if you just also searched Airlifter. But unfortunately, he's not 25-25, he's like 17-17. And even then, this is like among the less popular Rescue Ace cards, because it doesn't really do much of anything. Mechlord Emperor Wysell Synchro Absorption. Must be special summoned by its own effect. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Mechlord monster you control to the graveyard, special summon this card. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Now you need a second Mechlord card. Where's that gonna come from? I don't know. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack for the rest of this turn. Oh my god. There you go. That's a great interruption, guys. Is kinda. When a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, quick effect, you contribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So I get the joke here is that he's Stardust Dragon. He absorbed Stardust Dragon's effect, but he forgot to absorb the good part where he gets to come back. Did you forget that? Did you forget like the part where the important thing about Stardust Dragon is that he comes back? He doesn't just stay in the grave. He just fuck off forever. He comes back. He comes back. That's what he does, is he comes back. This would not even be very good if it was like a more proactive negate. Like if it was just an Omni, like you'd still need a Mechlord card. Maybe we'd consider playing a Mechlord engine if this was a better negate than just protecting from destruction. That's not like a terrible effect. There's like definitely worse things you can be negating. I don't like it very much though. I'm not a big fan of this guy. And finally, the original Mechlord Emperor Wysell. Must be special summoned by its own effect. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's generic. That's a generic effect. Wait a minute. Oh. That summons itself pretty generically. You need to find a way to destroy it. Hold on. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. Don't like that. Once per turn, you can target 1 synchro monster your opponent controls. Equip that target to this card. Alright, so that's just like some random decks you get to hate on for free. Gains attack equal to combined attack of the monsters equipped to it. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell card, you can negate the activation and destroy it. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, what? That's just a spell negate. That's just a good effect. Alright, hold on. Now we have to reorganize the entire video around this one singular card and how we can use it. Fuck. I can't spell Regenesis. Now, Archfiend is, of course, a fiend. So if we can make like a, like Yama and get Sharvara, then maybe we could pop something like that. That's how we get Wysell on the board. Even without that, we have, there's Super Producer. So he can pop himself. That'll summon the Wysell from hand. All right, I see the vision. What if I play Blue Eyes? Redux, will you shut the fuck up? Obviously, we've determined a big 3 of this video is these 3. And they all need some level of setup. And I think Wysell is the best one if you can get him on board, but he needs like the most specific setup. where you need some way to pop your own guy. D-grade Buster, who I feel like the specific setup you need for him is the best generically, because it's just like the Cyberse draw a card and end on like a Link 2 with like Cyberse Gadget or with like Firewall Guardian. There's a couple of different starters that can get you that. But his interruption is like the hardest to work with because it can only remove things with higher attack than him. So unless you can like drain his own attack somehow, he's not really very good. And then there's Iris Sword Soul, which is kind of like an unholy fusion of the two, where it's not necessarily the hardest to enable. It's not necessarily the best interruption. I guess Hart's Cryptor is a 25, so you could play a Regenesis Splash and Malice and have D-grade Buster as like something that can banish 2 out of Graveyard. That makes sense. Who's the better honorable mention besides Fleur-de-Lis? Okay, Fleur-de-Lis, yeah, I guess that would be 4th. There we go. This is like kind of my tentative order. I genuinely think Tribute Summoning World Armor is the 4th best thing you can do with Regenesis. Oh my lord. No, yeah. So I'm always saying some dumb shit at the end of my videos like, what have we learned today? Because we never learn anything. Nothing has been gained from this experience. At the very best, maybe D-grade Buster points us in the direction of a Regenesis Malice deck that is just going to be worse than any other Malice build you can possibly imagine. That's true, we lost more, if anything. We lost not just our brain cells, we lost a part of our soul. We lost our, like, our humanity a little bit when we had to read Synchro Absorption. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry I clickbaited all of you by making you think that this was going to be a giant list of every card that has 2500 attack or defense. Let me just read... Oh, by the way, there's also a normal monster. We don't read the normal monsters on this show. Let's just go ahead and read a random monster with 2500 attack. Honest Neos. Quick effect, you can discard this card, target 1 hero monster on the field that gains 2500. 2500? How deep does it go? Thank you for watching, and make sure to join us next time when we read every card that has the letter Z in its name. That's right, that's what they're gonna be printing by in 2026. Good night, everybody.